Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode number 47 of the UTR Pro Tennis Tour podcast. My name is James Mackay. I'm the Director of Player and Collegiate Development at UTR Sports. As you know, the UTR Pro Tennis Tour is the go-to tour for rising tennis professionals across the world. Guaranteed matches, guaranteed prize money. Next on the show, I have the head coach of a team that will be competing in the BNP UTR College Championships in Indian Wells this week. I'm joined by Chris Doerr, the head men's tennis coach at Memphis. Chris, welcome on.
Thanks for having me, James. I appreciate it.
Chris, it looks like we have a busy week coming up here in California. Tell us a little bit about what's going on for the Tigers here.
Yeah, busy week. I say it's a great opportunity. We play San Diego today, and then we'll play Princeton in San Diego on Thursday. And then, like you said, it's off to Indian Wells and finals weekend for the ATP event. But obviously, big weekend for us with three other good teams. So it's a very exciting time for us.
Tell us a little bit about the BNP, right? How that whole worked, what the format is, when it starts, teams playing, and your whole expectation and mindset going in.
Yeah, it's going to be 4 schools. So obviously, Memphis, Baylor, Arizona State, Pepperdine. One semifinal on Friday, one on Saturday. With our kind of schedule being planned out a little bit, we're playing San Diego and Princeton early. They allowed us to be the Saturday match, which was very nice of the 3 other coaches and UTR for allowing that to happen. We'll play a dual match at Indian Wells, right where all the players will be. So, all our guys will get credentials and walk around like superstars. And some have already been practicing their signature to sign some autographs. So they're excited about that. And got a few boosters coming out to watch, got a few fans coming to watch as well, a few parents coming out. So it's going to be an incredible event, that's for sure.
Tell us a little bit about that. You just mentioned the word booster, coming to watch. How did that work with you, or these connections in the community of Memphis, and how important is that in the day and age of college athletics now, especially for a sport like tennis?
Yeah, I mean, it's we're really lucky in Memphis. We've got an incredible tennis community. It's the one thing that I've always loved about being there. I was the assistant for a long time, head coach for a few years, and always loved how much the city of Memphis loves sports and loves tennis in particular. And so making the connections, having been there for quite a while wasn't too difficult. But we've got a lot of generous people, and when you're in events like the one that UTR is sponsoring this weekend, it's very easy to ask people to come out and watch, and they get to kind of spend a few days at the ATP event and then come watch the Tigers play on the weekend. And it's in California, so I think there's a lot of people that enjoy doing that kind of thing, and we're excited to have a few people on and hopefully meet a few new people as well.
Love to hear it. Are you going to have any time during the event at BNP to watch professional tennis, walk around the grounds? How will that whole thing work?
Yeah, we will. We should. So Friday, we'll get there Thursday night. Obviously, after the Princeton match, we'll drive over. It's not too far. It's not too bad. And then Friday, we'll obviously probably go and practice. And so I think our practice courts are after the first semifinal. So we'll go watch a little bit of the semifinal, go and watch a little practice. And then after we hit, we'll eat some lunch, and I'll let the guys trot around and see who they can see and bump into who they can bump into. Got a big international team, so they've all got a lot of connections to pro tennis, and I'm sure there'll be a bunch of people around, a bunch of coaches they've seen before. So the experience in terms of what the student athlete gets, I think is, maybe second to none in terms of being around one of the biggest tournaments and having access to a lot of places. So it's going to be a great experience for them.
Love to hear it as well. Well, Chris and I have actually known each other for probably about 15 years. Chris was the assistant at Memphis when I was actually a player at Drake, and I remember that vividly. And now he has returned to be the head coach at Memphis following the legendary Paul Goebel. Big shout out to Paul. Tell everyone listening what it's like to have been an assistant and actually return to a place that you know so well, that you remember those Memphis teams. You had Salisbury, O'Hare, Glennon, all these guys, right? And then now you've returned to be the head coach. What's that like for you?
Yeah, extremely lucky is maybe the best way to put it. I think a lot of people, when they get their first head coaching job, it's scary. It's they're not sure what's going on. They're not sure how to recruit to places. They're not sure what kind of team they're inheriting a little bit. And so obviously I worked for Paul and, left me with a phenomenal team and left me with some great Tigers as always. And so was able to come in and hit the ground running, hired a fantastic assistant coach in Eduardo Mena, who had played at Tennessee Tech and been kind of one of the few loyal players, where he played all 4 years when he was a phenomenal player and had some incredible wins. He tells the guys probably on a weekly basis that he beat Nuno Borges. And so, was really lucky just to get going. And like you said, I've been there before. There were still people administration. I knew those people are still there today. And so we've got a very exciting time as a university in terms of where we're going. We built this phenomenal $30 million facility, 24 outdoor courts, 12 indoor courts. I think we're probably the only college facility that has all that access to. So offices, locker rooms, training room, everything's over there. We're over there the whole time. We've got a lounge, got a dartboard, got a pool table, got a little table tennis going. So being a Memphis tennis player, men's and women's, is a phenomenal experience right now. That's for sure.
How do you think the game has changed to where you hear all this chat about revenue share and NIL, and you are head coach of a mid-major? And by the way, people may say I'm an SEC guy. Yeah, okay, I know the SEC well from my experience, but I also went to a mid-major. I strung my own rackets for 4 years. I got in a 12-passenger minivan across the entire United States with some characters like Benjamin Mullis, who I hope, I never have that again. So actually, at the root of me, I am a mid-major guy, right? Went to Tennessee, started coaching there, and I actually struggled with what the athletes were given, the luxuries they were given. How has that changed, in your opinion? Being a head coach, being at a mid-major, the challenges that you may or may not have?
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing that I'm very lucky with, even though I'm at a mid-major, is my athletic director at our university really funds tennis really well. So we actually have a phenomenal budget. We have a lot of things that our guys, they get, like you said, what do they used to get? It's funny you bringing up all those names. We were over there practicing on those back courts yesterday, and I remember seeing you play Joe Salisbury and hearing your footwork be louder than how hard you actually hit the ball, which I thought was interesting. You would call it intensity, but I don't think your viewers understand you as a player enough sometimes. So I got to give him a little bit. Still not sure the backhand can pass, but I don't know how you beat Salisbury that day. You got a little lucky, I think, Phil. But anyway, I've moved on. The loss didn't hurt too much, as you can tell. So no, there's some things have just changed. I think even when you were a player in college, when I was a player in college, there were always the schools that had something, and there were always the schools that didn't have it. And so we blame NIL and we blame rev share, but that was always the case. It's just a little more public now. And so there are people making a lot more money, and there are some people making a little bit of money, and probably some that are still on 4.5 scholarships. And I think it's just about the school and how much we want to impact tennis. I think we forget that we're a country club sport, and we're very lucky to be a country club sport because there's a lot of people with a lot of money that play tennis and like to play tennis. And so we have access to stuff that maybe some Olympic sports don't have access to, and they don't have a community necessarily outside of just the juniors trying to get better. So we're also very lucky, I think, in tennis and in golf that we have the ability that, I can go to 6 different clubs at any point in Memphis and go see 100 people playing the game, and they can play the game from the age of 5 all the way up to about 85. And so we're lucky to be in a sport like that where we can draw in fans of all ages. And that's something I've tried to do at Memphis. Paul did a good job of it. I've tried to take it to a new level of getting some big crowds. But going back to the original question, the rev share stuff, it has changed the sport. I think the athletes themselves have changed. COVID, social media, whatever excuse you want to give, it's a little more short term rather than long term, maybe is the best way to put it. But as a head coach, it's a great challenge. I didn't get into this job to just do the same job for the next 30 years. It's changing, and it's changing quicker than some of us maybe like, but change is good. Change allows us to grow. And for me, I find it ironic because we tell our guys all the time, we're trying to get you to be comfortable being uncomfortable. And yet when it happens to us as coaches, we like to blame everything else. And we have to look at ourselves and go, okay, how can we change things? There is the fear of what college tennis looks like long term, but you can't think long term right now. I think we have to think short term, and I think there's other sports that are in a way worse situation than we are.
Very good explanation there. Chris, who are you as a coach? Can you describe what you think you do on a daily basis, or how your players would describe you?
Yeah, it's a good question. It's always probably the scariest question I get asked on podcasts, because I'll probably say one thing and they're probably all listening and go, and that's not true. But I think I'm a pretty positive person. I like to think I'm pretty organized, pretty analytical. I love being on the tennis court. I don't love being in the office. And so that's going to be, that's where I've had to learn as a head coach, is maybe to get in the office and grind out some more paperwork. And like I mentioned, Eduardo, we have another assistant coach. I've got Alec Robillard from, Bill at Ball State, who's a bit of a legend as well. So I've got two phenomenal coaches with me. I love being on court. I'm on court 5 hours a day, individuals, team practice. I generally just love doing this job. I think it's the best job in the world. I love being at Memphis, and so I preach gratitude with the guys a lot of the times. And I think helping these guys grow and develop on and off the court is something that I like doing, and it's challenging, but that's a good thing.
Thank you for that feedback there, Chris. Well, look, I'm always seeking constructive feedback in terms of this podcast, and one of the things that I've been told by a few friends and colleagues, former colleagues in the coaching industry, is to keep my questioning with coaches unique. So Chris Doerr doesn't know this, but he's actually going to be the first college coach to do some rapid fire questions here. And
okay, thanks.
Very, very excited to do this and to see kind of what your answers are. I have the other coaches competing in the BNP this weekend in Baylor, Arizona State, and brain block, Pepperdine. So they will all be coming on and doing the same thing.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Probably not, but let's give it a shot anyway. So
okay, here we go. Do you actually believe that England can win the World Cup this summer?
Yes.
What player proved you wrong or surprised you the most throughout your coaching career?
That proved me wrong the most. Andrew Watson was a phenomenal player, went top 10 in the college his freshman year, and his self-belief, he had a massive game. His self-belief was something I didn't realize he had. And so fantastic guy that actually getting married this summer, but he, not to say I was surprised by how well he did, I was surprised how quickly he did it, and was very proud of him for doing that quickly.
Andrew Watson, good backhand.
Very good backhand.
Toughest player you have ever coached?
Oh, that's tough. That's a good question.
You ever need more time, I can come back to it.
No, I'm good. I've got two. I mean, obviously Ryan Penniston's the obvious one. Was this small, skinny, 120 pounds. I don't know what that is in kilos, unfortunately. Little guy, still on tour now. Incredible self-belief, would just go and chop up people, and that would be like 6'5" with huge serves, and he'd find a way. So that his toughness to me is great. Obviously had cancer as a kid, has gone through a lot, and he's still out there. I think he's 200 in the world now. Still can be top 100 in the world, in my opinion. Still a great player. And then toughest player, that's a good one. Honestly, our current number one, Moritz, is pretty tough. He likes to get stuck into the battles, and I love when I can hear him getting into his cross-court rallies and going deep. And when he's doing his thing, he's pretty freaking tough, and he's 6'5" and scary. So I think that adds to it as well. So maybe two opposite ends of the spectrum there.
Very good answers. Highest and lowest moment of your coaching career?
I mean, it's got to be losing to you. It's got to be the lowest point, I think, losing to a guy like that in San Diego. Like you said, losing to you, Mullis, Goodman. No, I'm just joking. Losing, I don't know if Mullis won that day, actually. I can't remember.
Probably not.
It was a tough loss just because I think it was literally just the Battle of Britain, wasn't it, that day in San Diego? So to see you guys be louder than us, and maybe Matt Frost was there, actually, who obviously works for you guys as well, which is quite funny. But yeah, that was, I'll put down just losing to you individually, I think was tough to take because all you did was move your feet really hard and grunt loud, so the ball went nowhere. So highest point, I mean, they just never stop, honestly. I mean, I'm really lucky, I've been to the Sweet 16 twice. So, going with Florida State, going with Memphis, getting offered the Memphis job, getting offered the Florida State job. I've been extremely lucky, extremely grateful for every different thing. So I don't think I could pick one. I mean, it's because there's so many people around me that deserve all the credit that I don't deserve. So,
would you rather bring in a top junior or a proven transfer into your program if you had to pick one?
I'll take both. No, I don't think it's about that for me. It's about the personality. It's about the connection I have with the recruit. So I would rather bring in a guy that I'm on the same page with, that one or top 10 in the world, or obviously, bringing in someone like Antoine at Florida State, who was a phenomenal athlete, an All-American, however many times, and ranked whatever he was. For me, I think about him as a person and how much fun I had coaching him and working with him and not doing the tennis stuff as well. So it's more about the personality than necessarily what they are on paper.
Best college tennis environment and hardest place that you've experienced to win on the road?
So hardest place to win on the road. That's a tough one. As a player, one of my most fun memories was playing at LSU and having a bunch of frat guys have my Facebook profile out on their phone. And yeah, that's how old I am. Facebook was a thing, and them just going through everything and abusing me, and I loved it. I loved every second of it. I played really good that day, actually, and took a win. And my head coach actually told me to get the frat boys away from another one of the matches. So I got to be a little wild and kind of flip them off a little bit and get them going. That was pretty cool. I love that. Playing at Georgia, there was about 1,000 people when we beat them when I was at Florida State. Shout out, Manny Diaz, Jamie Hunt for setting that up. I'll give that Florida State team a lot of credit that day because that crowd was loud. It was loud, and we found a way to kind of come through. Unfortunately, lost to your Tennessee boys the round after, but was extremely proud of. So that was maybe the toughest one I've experienced. And then old school Baylor. I don't think I've won at Baylor against Baylor in my career. So which I don't know why. So shout out to Michael Woodson for doing that, and I'm excited to play him again on Saturday on neutral ground. So.
Chris, I'll stop putting you on the spot. Sorry about that. Very good answers. Couple more questions for you. First of all, talk us a little bit about your team this year. Expectations. If you can go through some guys on your roster, with their UTRs, things like that. But expectations, schedule coming up. How good do you think this team can be?
Yeah, extremely. Happy to have all the guys in the team. We've got a really good mix between transfers, freshmen, and returners. And so top of my lineup with a couple of guys coming back, Moritz and Max. Moritz Kulinec, I think he's like a 13-3 maybe, something like that, 13-2, 13-3. He's been a little bit injured over the last few weeks, so getting him back healthy, it was a huge help. Massive guy, big serve, extremely solid from the baseline. And then on the other hand, you have Max Abouche, who's a smaller guy, very talented, little Frenchie, just massive forehand, gets stuck in, all court game. I think he's a 13-05, 13-1 maybe. So obviously those two guys kind of leading the way for us is phenomenal. And then after that, we've got this incredible mix of a bunch of players that do some great things, and different transfers have stepped up. Brad Markowski came from Division 2, and we were extremely lucky to get him. I mean, he's like a 12-6, 12-7. Marcos Castro has probably been the surprise. He's an incredible talent with a ginormous forehand and incredible personality. The Memphis crowd has fallen in love with him, I think, and the way he plays. So his UTR is just below a 13, if I'm correct, still 12-8, 12-9. Leandro, I'm going to say his name wrong, even though he's been here for 9 months. Zagragan, transfer from North Dakota, won 1 million matches for them last year. We're really happy to bring him in. Really excited to see what he can do outdoors as well. And then we got a bunch of other guys that we've actually played all our roster below that. Nearly everybody's had an opportunity to get stuck in so that we can see what we've got. So the goals for this year is, as always, it's the same thing, trying to win conference tournament. We've been in the final every year since, and I think we have the ability to do that. Our conference is, I think, one of the most underrated, with Wichita State, Rice, Charlotte, Tulsa, FAU. I'm missing South Florida. So we have Tulane. I mean, geez, the list goes on of how good our conference is. So my plan was to try to put together the best schedule I could, and we've done that. We've played a bunch of Big Ten schools, a bunch of SEC schools, big wins over Alabama, Indiana, took down Harvard earlier in January. Really excited to go outdoors. I actually think we're a little bit better outdoors as well. So really excited to see how the season kind of progresses. And the goal is, I think we can be a top 25 team, but obviously we haven't quite done it yet. And so I think that having a good schedule where we get to play a bunch of good teams, get to battle Jimmy at Middle Tennessee again near the end of the semester, it's always fun to have a little in-state rivalry and get things going. So, we're halfway through and really excited for what the second half can bring.
Massive shout out here, actually, to the AAC conference. I'm just looking at the level here. This is impressive. Memphis, Chris has built a team: 13-2, 13-06, 12-9-9, 12-5-3, 12-4-3, and a 12-4-1. And I probably have them statistically by UTR first or second in the conference. But the depth, I mean, there's probably 6 or 7 teams there that are very impressive. So how does it work in the AAC? Do you have to play everyone home and away? Do you not have to play anyone? How does it work?
No, extremely lucky. It's one of our biggest, one of the biggest selling points. We don't have a conference schedule. So we schedule the teams that we want to play, home and away, different things like that. And then I'm able to do what we're doing this weekend. Go to California, go travel. We go to literally the next 2 weeks. I go California, New York, down to Florida. So as I tell recruits, I can put you guys in front of some of the best teams in the country, and I can give you the experience of being able to see every part of America, which, as an international guy, I think is pretty cool. I played in the SEC. I've been to Gainesville, I've been to Columbia, I've been to Knoxville. You go there every 2 years, and so for me at Memphis, I'm able to do something a little bit different and show them different places and different parts of the country, and maybe play some different teams. And it's about making some connections and putting them on the schedule, but we've been able to do it. So yeah, it's exciting times for sure. And our conference is a very good one. A lot of great depth, a lot of really good teams, a lot of really good head coaches, to be honest. And so it's a fun conference to be a part of. We were able to host men and women last year conference tournament, which was incredible, and had a great fan base come out. I think everyone had a good time. Being able to put men and women's tennis together, I think, is quite a good thing for our future. Most tennis fans are men's and women's tennis fans, not just one gender. And so being able to put everyone together at one conference tournament, I think, was phenomenal, and we're bidding to do it again. So if the AAC is listening, come back to Memphis. We want it. So we'd love to have you guys.
Chris, I know there's a few complications with PTT at Memphis. No worries at all. But
I'm working on
your players play PTT. I saw them recently in Murfreesboro. I saw them in Knoxville. I saw them other places. Why do you incorporate PTT into scheduling for your team?
First off, massive shout out to you guys, what you're doing. Also, massive shout out for hiring Sandy Franz. Talk about a stud recruit, bringing in a great guy. Can't wait to see him in a few days. But love the PTT system, love the old school group stage. I mean, there's nothing better than being able to go play 6 matches in a row, and maybe 7 if I'm doing my math incorrectly. But it's about playing matches at the end of the day. And so we go to these full tournaments, as you know, and they're Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and basically my guys have to play about 7 matches in 3 days, which physically is not what we train them to do sometimes. I mean, we're only allowed to be on court 3 to 4 hours a day. So expecting them to be able to play 2 singles and maybe 2 doubles in a day, I think is a little unrealistic. So when they can go to you guys, play a PTT, play 1 or 2 matches a day, travel with some of their teammates, I think it's phenomenal what you guys are doing. And I tell our guys, even the ones that are playing on the Pro Tour, if they're struggling at futures or 15Ks, whatever they call them now, go play a PTT, go play 6 matches, go put some stuff on video. You know, that's one of the things I love. I love the fact that you guys stream on Amazon Prime, and, you know, it's literally watching it every day and being able to watch recruits and being able to break down some film with them and being able to watch a player over the summer. And sometimes it's great because, you know, in December I think we had 3 guys play in 3 different countries, and you're watching how much they've improved. And sometimes you don't get to see that because you're analyzing things so much. Where you're just watching them play, it's great to see how much they're improving. And I can shoot my message, go, man, you look great. This looks so much better. Look how much your hard work's paying off. I think that goes a long way. So you guys have done a phenomenal job. I love your rating system. We use it in recruiting all the time. It's great just to see a number and see where guys are, and also them trending in the right direction, because that's kind of what you're looking for sometimes.
Appreciate those words, Chris. If you don't know, Chris Doerr was heavily involved in the recruitment and coaching of a player that you probably have heard called Joe Salisbury. Joe, I believe, reached #1 in the world in doubles, Grand Slam champion, I think. But tell us a little bit just why you think Joe has been able to do what he's done. What is it that maybe separates him? Obviously, his strength was doubles, maybe not so much in singles, even though he was still a very good player in singles. Why has he done this? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, he was a very good singles player. I think he got to 500 in the world. You know, Joe is a very great example of, I think, tennis in general and how phenomenal our sport is. Anybody can do anything they want to. They put their head down and go to work, and they believe in themselves. And I know you've seen it obviously at Tulane with Dominic, and you know, you're getting these guys that aren't the best juniors or aren't the best this or aren't the best that. And the thing that I loved about Joe was he was very focused on what he wanted out of his tennis career. He was very focused on what he's trying to do, and I was really lucky to learn a lot from him. One of my first years in coaching, second year in coaching, I guess, is we were just doing individuals where we were just working on the very specific things. You know, the first volley, the individual double stuff, and his self-belief has really taken him to Grand Slam titles and #1 in the world. And I know he's taking a little bit of a break right now. I think he just got engaged, which is awesome, and really happy from there. But what a guy, what a story. I think that he typifies what we're trying to do. It doesn't matter where you come from. It matters where you finish your career. And he's always been focused on what he's trying to do. He came and brought it every day in practice. He wasn't perfect. I mean, he'll know that himself. He's difficult to coach sometimes. And, you know, Justin Sharon, Dave O'Hare, Louis Caillet have done an incredible job with him. But his focus on what he was trying to do on the doubles court has always led him to believe this is where he belongs. We had an ATP event in Memphis. He got to play the Bryan brothers. Him and Dave O'Hare actually got to play them before he went pro. Dave O'Hare then got to go play Davis Cup, which is why I love Davis Cup. I think going to play Davis Cup, you experience things at a lower level, which are great. So really happy for him, but he deserves it all the way. He's the one that put the work in. And the one thing separates me is just he believed this is where he belongs, and he still does. And this is where he belongs. He's doing great.
Belief. Biggest thing I hear there for players listening, belief. Last question. What is your message and advice to college tennis right now? To leadership of college tennis, to coaches of college tennis? You know, there's unfortunately 52 programs were cut last year, one most recently this year in Gardner-Webb. You know, I'm not trying to be negative, but I am passionate about the sport growing. Right. So if you did have advice or someone was listening that could put something into action, what would be some things that you would say for the growth of the game?
I mean, I think this is a very good question. I think it hasn't changed a whole lot. I think we're trying to get relative in our athletic departments. I think having a relationship with your AD and the administration is huge. Just Coach Goebel taught me this, and I watched Coach Dwayne do it at Florida State. Just walking into someone's office and saying hi goes a long way in administration. And everybody's always asking for something in athletics. Sometimes just walking in and asking how somebody's doing, or just giving them a knock on the door and a wave goes a long way. So I think making us relative means making us known in our athletic departments. I think it's the same thing in our community. We need to be building something a little bit. Someone gave me some ridiculous stat. How many tennis courts there are in this country is incredible. We've got tennis courts everywhere. And so we need to make sure that we have access to people coming to play. It's not just about us 8 to 10 guys that want to compete. It's bigger than that. Tennis is bigger than that. And so I think those two things alone would make a big difference. I think when people know you, it's a personal relationship. And it's not easy to do. I know tennis coaches I didn't get into this by wanting to make friends and go talk to administration or go do fundraising, but these are things we have to do. And the advice I'll give to young coaches, especially the assistant coaches, is man, the sooner you do this, the sooner you get comfortable with it, the easier it becomes. And I was an assistant coach for a long time. I did it for 12 years or something, and loved every second of it. But I was always focused on recruiting and developing and all this side of things. Whereas when you become a head coach, it's like, all right, now you have to create relationships and you have to network and you have to do a lot of these things. And so to the younger people out there, and I think we're going to see younger coaches come in as the rev share and NIL, as you said, has changed things. I think we're going to get younger coaches in there that are going to understand this a little bit better. But man, go say hi. Don't be nervous if you're a volunteer or if you're a grad assistant. Man, get stuck in. Go say hi to the AD. Go shake hands. Go remember people's names, because to me, it's amazing how much successful people love the basic things and just want to be there to help you guys. And college tennis is maybe struggling, but I think our product has never been better. And so, with cameras and with fans, we've been able to get. I think I saw a stat the other day. I ordered about 300 pizzas over the course of our 6 home matches, and not one of them was left empty at the end. So people do want to watch tennis. You are the way they can watch the best level of tennis in their communities, and so just do everything you can to get it out there. And it's a challenge, but it's a good challenge.
Great advice there for everyone listening. Well, obviously, if you don't know as well, the appointment of Craig Tiley as CEO at the USTA, I think, is going to be an amazing impact for college tennis. A few things that I read about him was he always tries to leave the place he was at before he moves on. He tries to leave it in a better place. That's his number one goal. I also read that he doesn't go to bed before 2:00 in the morning, which I thought was fantastic. And the reason why is he has to feel as prepared as possible for the following day. And if he does that, then the day becomes easy. And I thought that was so good. Anyway, Tiley obviously has a huge impact in college tennis. He coached college tennis. He won a national championship in college tennis and did tremendous things with Tennis Australia. So I think his appointment is going to be a huge impact, positive impact for college tennis coaches, players, everyone involved. So, Chris, I really appreciate your time. I know we rambled on a little bit there, but best of luck, best of luck this week. And then most importantly, best of luck at the BNP UTR College event taking place in Indian Wells. All the best.
Thanks, James. Appreciate it.
Cheers.